Thank you. Well, hello. Welcome, geoscientists and guests. It is my honor to preside over today's awards ceremony, which includes the 2025 Presidential Address by GSA President Dr. Nathan Niemi. Today, we celebrate the outstanding achievements of exceptional geoscientists who have earned GSA and GSA Division awards. These include GSA's oldest and most prestigious honors, the Penrose Medal and the Arthur L. Day Medal, which date back to 1927 and 1948, respectively. We also recognize members advanced to the rank of Fellow in acknowledgement of their scientific excellence and their dedicated service to the Geological Society of America. Together, these individuals embody scientific excellence and ensure that the geosciences and GSA itself remain vibrant, relevant, and vital to the world around us. We gratefully acknowledge our generous sponsors for their support of the 2025 GSA Connects meeting. And we also extend our thanks to our organizational partners, Brunton for their service and dedication, and to Image Audio Visuals, who year after year has helped us bring our events to life. To all of our Connect sponsors and program supporters, your contributions make this meeting and so many of our programs possible. I'd now like to recognize the past GSA presidents in the audience and ask them to please stand so that we can all thank you for your service to the Society. Thank you. It is truly a pleasure to welcome you all to San Antonio, a city with a rich history, a deep cultural pride, and phenomenal food. I encourage you to take a little time while you are here to experience the sights, sounds, and flavors that have made this such a memorable host city. The geology of San Antonio isn't just a scenic backdrop. It is the foundation of the city itself. The Edwards Aquifer, the springs, and the region's unique geological settings are the very reasons this city exists. We are also surrounded by a constellation of world-class geology programs, more than a dozen within a 4-hour drive, and every one of them is represented here this week. Together, they join the thousands of scientists who have come to share their work, exchange ideas, and set the course for the future of the geosciences. Since we last gathered in Anaheim, the world has not made it easy on the scientific community. From wildfires to devastating floods, from canceled grants to furloughs, we have been consistently reminded just how uncertain our times can be. But it is precisely because of these challenges that organizations like GSA matter most. Our ability to adapt quickly to serve science, society, and the planet has been the key to our flourishing for over a century and will continue to be what sets us apart. So while the times and circumstances bring change, GSA remains steadfast in its mission to advance geoscience research and discovery, to serve society, to be a steward of the earth, and to champion the geoscience profession. We are excited about the 3 themes that have anchored our conference this year, but the overarching theme of not only the conference, but the entire year for GSA is innovation. From our new certification programs that help attendees demonstrate professional growth, to the launch of our updated app and the introduction of the innovation stage on the exhibit floor, our aim has been to strengthen impact through strategic actions, unwavering ethics, the courage to stand up for what is right, and a bold vision. GSA is not downsizing. We are not playing it safe, and we are not waiting for the circumstances around us to change so that we can continue with the status quo. But what leaders either know or quickly learn is that no grand vision nor big plans are possible without people who make things happen, and that is especially true about the amazing team at GSA. I am so fortunate to be surrounded by people who are passionate about helping students, who care deeply about advancing science, and who literally want to save the world. Their hard work, determination, and perseverance is only paralleled by their ability to have fun doing it. Most of the GSA staff are hard at work throughout this convention center right now and are therefore, unfortunately, not in this room. But with the GSA staff members who are here, please stand, and please, would all of you please join me in giving the GSA staff the recognition they so greatly deserve. Your kindness and your expressions of gratitude provided to the GSA staff throughout this event will mean so much to them, as it does to me. I'm proud to report that GSA's membership is growing. For the first time in a decade, GSA's annual membership has increased compared to prior years, with student memberships leading our growth. The backbone of this growth is the GSA sections and divisions, who demonstrate the breadth and depth of our society. So would the division and section leaders all please stand? And again, everyone, please join me in thanking them for their dedication to GSA and to the geosciences. GSA's publications are also expanding. Our acquisition of the Mountain Press assets increased our book inventory tenfold, and we are now the proud home of the U.S. Committee for Geoheritage. Our marketing, our international, and our advocacy work are all flourishing, and so our reach and our value and our voice have grown broader than ever, and our focus on producing outstanding scientific journals and scientific conferences such as this one has also expanded. I invite you to learn more about where we've been, where we are, and where we are going by joining me and others, members of the GSA leadership at the innovation stage on Tuesday evening. Please bring your questions, your ideas, and your opinions. GSA is your society, and we want to hear from you. I would also like to express our gratitude to the many, many donors who have contributed to advancing the geosciences through generous contributions to GSA's research grants, travel awards, On to the Future Scholars, and the incredibly important GSA Greatest Needs Fund, as well as so many other critical GSA programs. I am delighted to be able to report that in response to these uncertain times, our foundation almost doubled the distribution percentage of the endowed funds they manage for GSA for this upcoming fiscal year, which has allowed GSA to put more of your generous support directly into the hands of students, international lecturers, and geoscientists from all backgrounds and interests. I'm not going to ask our donors to stand, they know who they are. But please join me in thanking them for their commitment to ensuring the advancements of the geosciences through GSA's great program work. It is now my great pleasure to introduce our GSA president, Dr. Nathan Niemi, who is leading the Geological Society of America with fortitude and foresight. Dr. Niemi received his AB from Cornell University in 1994. He then attended the California Institute of Technology, where he earned his master's in science in 1996 and his PhD in 2002. He held appointments as the postdoctoral fellow of the Massachusetts Institute of Technology and an assistant research science at the University of California, Santa Barbara, and was a member of the professional staff at the California Institute of Technology before joining the University of Michigan faculty as an assistant professor in 2006. Professor Niemi was promoted to associate professor with tenure in 2013 and to professor in 2019. And in 2025, he was named the Henry Pollack Professor of Earth and Environmental Sciences. Professor Niemi's research is focused on the study of plate tectonics, and specifically, the deformation along tectonic plate boundaries. His early contributions were in studying deformation across broad zones of continental deformation on short geological timescales, with the goal of understanding the behavior of faults and fault systems and the natural hazards inherent in wide plate boundaries. Most recently, his research interests have expanded to encompass the longer-term evolution of these broad zones of continental deformation. Professor Niemi has contributed to understanding what properties control the width of plate boundaries, how this deformation is distributed in time and space, and the tectonic transitions of the terminations of subduction zones. Professor Niemi's research involves a wide range of tools and techniques, including field observations, geological mapping, thermochronology, geochronology, structural analysis, and stratigraphic studies. He has established low-temperature thermochronology laboratory that can be used to understand rates of exhumation, erosion, and tectonic deformation over million-year timescales across deforming continental regions. His research has spanned the globe, from Western United States to Tibet, and from New Zealand to the Greater Caucasus. So with that, please join me in welcoming Dr. Nathan Niemi to the stage for his presidential address.
Thank you, Melanie, for that kind introduction. I would like to thank all of you for attending the Presidential Award Ceremony to recognize and honor our members for their scientific and community accomplishments. I'd like to thank the GSAF and their leaders, including new Executive Director Sean O'Brien, for their support, as well as incoming GSA President Glenn Thackeray, our Treasurer Brian Katz, and the rest of the GSA Council. I'd like in particular to give an ovation to Chuck Bailey, who has been a tremendous support to me this year, and who has volunteered to step up for a fourth year of leadership at GSA. Chuck, thank you so much for extending your service to our society. As Melanie said earlier, we're incredibly excited to be here in San Antonio for the 2025 GSA Connects meeting. This is on track to be the largest meeting we've had since the COVID pandemic, with a rich and diverse array of scientific sessions, invited lectures, field trips, short courses, and social activities. We are pleased at the success of this meeting, which is due to the commitment of the annual program committee, the local planning committee, GSA staff, volunteers, and most importantly, GSA members such as yourselves who've chosen to invest your time and resources to be with us here in San Antonio. That being said, it needs to be acknowledged that this has been at times a tumultuous path to get here, a challenging year for many in this room personally, and a difficult year for science in general, as underscored by the absence of many of our colleagues who work for the federal government at the USGS, NOAA, NASA, DOE, or other agencies as earth scientists. So I thought I'd talk about something that's at least inspiring to me and gets me out of bed on days when even things seem difficult, and that's my passion for teaching geology in the field. I'm a field geologist by training, and research grounded in field-based study typifies the work I continue to do with my graduate students. I've been fortunate to teach field geology courses for nearly 25 years and to direct the University of Michigan's Earth and Environmental Science Field Station for the last 12 years. My connection to field geology is intricately connected to GSA. GSA graduate research grants supported my PhD research, as they have for those of my students. And I've been fortunate to actually teach field geology with two past GSA presidents, Clark Birchfield and John Geisman. Over the past few years, I've spent a lot of time thinking about the future of field camps, field courses, and field trips in the geological sciences, as the landscape around field geology courses, which was slowly evolving, has begun to more rapidly shift. These shifts have a variety of causes. Cost is certainly one factor, both the cost to an institution of offering place-based or field-based learning, as I'm constantly reminded by my dean, and the cost to students of taking field courses, especially if the payment of summer tuition or the loss of a summer job is involved. Additionally, many faculty trained as field geologists were hired in the wake of the acceptance of plate tectonics and during the heyday of oil and gas exploration. As these faculty retire, departments are moving in new and different directions, often eliminating the courses thought of as preparatory for field geology, as well as the field geology courses themselves. And as new faculty are hired with different research interests and changing expectations in academia, the impetus or incentives to develop a multi-week course taught during the summer are usually not especially attractive. Field geology courses are already being eliminated due to declining enrollment and costs, or replaced with shorter field trips, locally based and taught during traditional academic terms. What might the future of field education look like for the next generation of students? To answer that question, it seems reasonable to ask why field geology is taught at all. The answer to that question may be more obvious to somebody like me who lives on a boundless expanse of glacial till that's covered by snow 5 months out of the year. Others might find it less intuitive, but field trips and field camps are an opportunity to see geology in ways that simply isn't possible from local or even regional excursions. From a curricular perspective, I suspect that many field geology instructors would point to a set of skills such as using a Brunton compass, measuring a stratigraphic section, or making a geologic map, and the intention through these processes of developing a deeper level of intuition in students, including things that are really unique to our field, thinking about objects in both space and time, which is really unique to geology, making a plan to collect data or test a hypothesis, drawing an inference from incomplete data or defending that inference, accounting for incompleteness uncertainty. A growing body of geoscience education research into field courses and field experiences supports the importance of developing these critical skills through fieldwork. In addition, for many students, field camps and extended field excursions can be opportunities for personal growth and through travel and experiential learning in a new environment. Some students thrive with the ability to focus on one subject at a time, or to get away from distractions at home, or whose strengths are in synthesis and conceptual thinking. The COVID pandemic in 2020 was a remarkable stimulus in thinking about different ways to achieve field camp teaching objectives. Every field camp in the course in the country was canceled overnight, and every institution pivoted to teaching an alternative version of field camp online. To do this effectively, it was critical to start with the key learning outcomes of field camp, and then to ask how those outcomes could be achieved through virtual exercises. An NSF Rapid grant, led by and involving multiple GSA members, convened virtual workshops of field camp instructors from across the country to assess the critical learning outcomes of field camp, and then to design and distribute exercises that could be used by any field camp instructor in their virtual courses. If you look at some of the key learning outcomes in this framework, it's obvious why teaching a student how to make a geologic map or measure a geologic section using pen and paper and traditional collection methods is effective. These exercises teach many of the crucial skills identified as important learning outcomes of field camp. But having identified these key learning outcomes opens up horizons beyond developing virtual field exercises based on traditional field camp approaches. This framework provides an opportunity to think about new approaches to teaching in the field and the possibilities of incorporating different technologies, topics, and themes into field camps and field courses. I suggest that as a community, we should consider some of these ways to adapt to the changing parameters of field-based teaching. Traditional field tools remain unquestionably useful for developing quantitative thinking skills and in reinforcing student learning by connecting thinking to doing. However, many students reasonably don't see the use of traditional geologic tools as marketable skills. Students are aware of the importance of geospatial skills in the job market, and we are aware that fewer and fewer of the students we teach will graduate with jobs that have a title of geologist. Our students will be environmental scientists, GIS analysts, hydrologists and hydrogeologists, and geological engineers. We are fortunate that the barriers to using technology in the field have rapidly dissolved. The revolution in computing power over the past 2 decades has been astonishing. Attempts to use computers in the field 15 and 20 years ago, many also pioneered by GSA members, were met with complaints by the students that 5 pounds of water and 20 pounds of battery were just too much to get up a hill, and they weren't necessarily wrong. Students now carry infinitely more powerful computers in their pockets all of the time. Well, at least in their pockets some of the time. These computers have batteries that last all day, screens you can read outside, and GPS positioning that lets you know exactly where you are, certainly accurate enough for teaching field geology. They're also inexpensive enough to be almost completely ubiquitous. This revolution in computing has been followed by a revolution in software and application development. This revolution has spearheaded a transition from complex, expensive, proprietary software systems that were cumbersome and challenging for students to learn on to an ecosystem of lighter-weight specialized apps aimed specifically at geological fieldwork and programmed and designed by geologists. The apps work together to accomplish many field-based tasks and are easy and intuitive for students to learn and navigate. Among these, I'll highlight a couple developed by GSA members, including StraboSpot, developed by Basil Tikoff and Doug Walker, which is designed for the nested collection of geological data at all scales, from geologic mapping to outcrop description to thin section analysis. This app is easily modified to simplify its use for field teaching, and students pick up its use and application quickly. StraboSpot interacts with apps built by other developers, including GSA member Rick Almendinger, that include a digital compass app that collects orientation data and permits the analysis of that data in real time in the field. Rick's own geologic mapping program for field use has unique features, including the ability to project geologic contacts, transitioning the app from a data collection tool to one that actually generates hypotheses that students can then test through further field observation. Through such technologies, we can enhance the learning of fundamental skills that are crucial to a practicing geologist, while also teaching computational and geospatial skills that are transferable to other jobs and markets. The expense of teaching with technology, including the planned obsolescence of equipment, computers, and software, is one of the biggest impediments to any single institution or entity incorporating technology into field teaching. While the sharing of expensive field-based research equipment has been a long-standing practice, such as seismometers through IRIS or GPS equipment through UNAVCO, the practice of pooling and sharing technological equipment for field teaching has had a later genesis. If not the pioneers of this practice, EarthScope was involved relatively early in the idea of sharing research-grade geodetic equipment with field camps for teaching instruction, including GPS receivers and LiDAR laser scanners. This practice continues and has expanded, with EarthScope now offering a suite of geodetic and geophysical equipment available for loan to field education programs. Many early adopters of these technologies have contributed curriculum, best practices, and sample data sets to shared teaching resource centers such as CERC, Teach the Earth, or GSA, lowering the barrier to others who may want to adopt these technologies. New equipment availability, including seismic equipment, ground-penetrating radar, and electrical resistivity equipment, opens the doors to field-based coursework in geodesy, geomorphology, natural hazards, and environmental geology. This expands the range of adoptable field study topics to encompass a greater breadth of student interests, and this is going to be needed for the new and expanded conception of topics that can be taught at field camp, as that is crucial. Student interest in environmental topics, particularly related to the habitability of our planet, from climate change to water quality to wildfire and natural hazards, has increased markedly over the past several years. In my own department, the number of students interested in pursuing environmentally oriented degrees outpaces those interested in a more traditional earth science degree by a factor of 2. This shift in student interest presents a challenge, but I would also suggest an opportunity. The challenge is that differentiating field studies is a component of only the traditional path through the earth sciences and not as an integral part of the environmental path through a degree program will inevitably lead to the diminishing participation of students in field studies. It will also minimize the opportunity for us to train students in what we think are the fundamental aspects of understanding earth science, whether it's over millions of years or just millennia. The opportunity presented to us is to incorporate environmental science as inherently linked to geology and vice versa. This is perhaps more easily said than done, and I am really fortunate to be teaching in a Department of Earth and Environmental Sciences with wonderful colleagues who are committed to field teaching and who have been actively engaged in developing field courses with topics that engage students interested in environmental science, but which don't lose their founding in the basis of geology. Field studies are place-based, and so there's no one-size-fits-all model to developing new field topics. But our field station in Wyoming, my colleagues have developed several unique and really interesting and compelling projects. These include an analysis of the ideal conditions for trout habitat by undertaking fish population counts, the analysis of water chemistry as a function of catchment geology, measuring water temperature, and observing ideal streambed habitats, which are influenced by both the geologic substrate and the spatial patterns that it expresses at the surface based on the deformation of the severe fold and thrust belt. They explore the elevation diversity gradient of modern plants. This diversity gradient reflects temperature, and spatial diversity in modern plants reflects substrate and soil type. They can compare these to Eocene paleosols and paleobotanical collections to ask questions about long-term changes in temperature and aridity, and to probe the causes of those changes as arising from tectonic or Cenozoic climate change. They also make observations on the impact of recent landslides on river dynamics and behavior. Landslides change bed load, block flow, and trigger outburst floods. Modern observations can be conceptually related to glacial outburst floods or pluvial lake floods during the Holocene, and the role of surface processes in shaping our planet through time can be assessed. Many in this room could certainly come up with additional ideas, examples, and topics, discussing and sharing ways in which we can retain fundamental earth science-oriented learning outcomes in field courses, while pivoting the subject matter to be more closely aligned to current student interests and the careers they are likely to have, is crucial for the long-term continuation and relevance of field education. I've thought a lot about the topics discussed so far with regard to new technology and new topics, in part because my oldest daughter started college this fall. She's studying conservation biology at CU Boulder, and I'm curious and concerned about what the world that she will graduate into is going to look like. I'm also deeply aware that spending a month each summer of her life at our field station in Grand Teton and Yellowstone National Parks played no small role at all in the college major that she chose. I should also add that today is her birthday, so I need to say happy birthday, Zoe. In general, though, despite the privilege my children have had, students are increasingly less exposed to earth sciences in secondary education. And participation in recreational outdoor pursuits is also in decline among many demographics. Raising student awareness around college programs and career opportunities in earth sciences is crucial. Once awareness is raised, creating a sense of community and belonging to attract and retain students is critical to diversifying the population of students who are pursuing earth science degrees and to meet the expected need for the earth scientists in the workforce. Considering these challenges in the context of field programs is especially important and challenging. We can perhaps take some lessons from programs that have had success in this regard. Several institutions have established cohorting programs to introduce high school students to the earth sciences over progressive summers through both on-campus instruction and field education. Here in Texas, the largest of those programs is GeoForce at UT Austin. Earth Camp is a similar program at my own institution. These programs have a remarkable placement rate of high school students in STEM fields in college and increasing participation in the earth sciences through cohorting and community building. At the next career stage, GSA's On to the Future program has had similar success, connecting undergraduate students through early career geoscientists with mentors, peer groups, and professionals to build a sense of belonging and community in the earth sciences. At my own field camp, we teach upper-level and lower-level courses in geology and environmental science. The upper-level field courses are populated by students in our major who typically know one another from courses on campus, while it's much less likely that students in our lower-level courses will know one another. We have recognized that issues of anxiety, isolation, and loneliness are more common among the lower-level students, who don't feel part of a cohort prior to arriving at our field station. Proactively working to build such cohorts through multiple pre-field camp meetings, including informational sessions, social events, casual hikes, and overnight camping trips, are ways to establish a sense of belonging and camaraderie, demystify the expectations of field camp, and to build confidence in students that they have the skills and abilities to be successful in a field course. That being said, it's also important to recognize that attending a field course in person isn't a viable or successful strategy for everybody. There need to be alternatives to in-person field courses for students with accessibility, health, financial, or travel limitations. A really notable outcome of the COVID pandemic has been that multiple virtual field courses have continued to persist every summer, demonstrating the need and demand for these options among our students. Some of these courses are digital twins of the projects undertaken in field courses in the field, while others are these incredibly novel constructions of virtual geologic landscapes and problems developed inside of existing video game frameworks. Anita Marshall at the University of Florida has developed an incredibly neat program called Geospace that approaches field geology by developing a hybrid course with both in-person and fully virtual participants. The program is designed around the geological themes of planetary geology and volcanology, with astronauts in the field and mission control specialists providing remote guidance and planning. Although designed specifically to address accessibility issues, one can see how such a model could be modified to remotely include students who are not able to participate in an in-person field course for any number of other reasons. Field education has been a core part of undergraduate education in the earth sciences because it's an ideal means by which to teach on the concepts and learning outcomes which are most unique and fundamental to our field. With new tools and new technology available to us, it's time to think about how field education should evolve to meet the changing needs and interests of our students and the future careers that they are likely to have. GSA and its members have been at the forefront of supporting field education, building new field technologies, researching field education, and promoting field camp accessibility. I look forward to GSA continuing to lead in addressing the challenges presented to us in re-envisioning field education into increasing participation and accessibility to the unique opportunities that field education provides. Thanks. commissioned the President's Medal to recognize those whose impact has profoundly enhanced the geosciences profession. By advancing geosciences, enhancing professional growth, and/or promoting geosciences in the service of humankind, and/or by significantly enlarging, love teleprompters, enlarging something. I do apologize, particularly to the awardees. Well, without further ado, the recipients of the 2025 President's Medal of the Geological Society of America are Open Topography.
The Geological Society of America awards the 2025 President's Medal to Open Topography, recognizing its transformative impact on the geosciences. Launched in 2008, Open Topography has revolutionized access to high-resolution topographic data by making it freely available to researchers, educators, engineers, planners, and the public. This initiative has advanced Earth science by facilitating research in geomorphology, tectonics, hydrology, and environmental science, and has become a model for open science. Its user-friendly platform democratizes data use across skill levels and sectors. Leaders Ramon Aerosmith and Chelsea Scott of Arizona State University, Christopher Crosby of EarthScope, and Wishnath Nandigan of the San Diego Supercomputer Center have been at the forefront in developing the cyber infrastructure and data systems that power access to high-resolution topographic data. Open Topography exemplifies the principles of open, collaborative, and impactful science. Its profound influence on the profession makes it a deserving recipient of this prestigious honor.
I'm too tall for the teleprompter. Thank you to the Geological Society of America's President, Nathan Niemi, and counselors for honoring Open Topography with the President's Medal. It's a tremendous recognition for the whole team that has built and maintained Open Topography over the last 17 years. We thank our funders, in particular the National Science Foundation, as well as advisory committee members and our broad user community. This recognition is really fundamentally about the dedication and collective efforts of the whole Open Topography team, including Matthew Beckley, Min Fan, Kai Lin, Emily Zawacki, Cassandra Brigham, and Kate Kaya, as well as many past team members as well as interns that have contributed. Most importantly, the recognition honors the trust of our partners and the vast community of users who rely on us to make topographic data and knowledge widely available. The topography of the Earth's surface is a fundamental geomorphic and geophysical observable that marks the boundary across which the lithosphere, hydrosphere, biosphere, and atmosphere interact. And so these data are essential to the geosciences. We've spent our time in Open Topography to open access to data, tools, knowledge, resources that are necessary to make these data available for research and education. The early scientific drivers that motivated Open Topography originated from topics that are at the heart of the Geological Society of America. These include active faulting, volcanic processes, geomorphology, and geoinformatics. So on behalf of the whole Open Topography team, thank you for your support.
All right, presenting the next set of awards will be President-elect Glenn Thackeray.
All right, thank you, Nathan, and thank you all for being here. I have the pleasure of announcing several awards. The GSA Distinguished Service Award recognizes individuals for exceptional service to the society. This year, GSA proudly recognizes two members for their extensive service to GSA, Steve Boss and Patrick Burkhart. Elizabeth Long provided the citation for Steve Boss.
Throughout his career, Dr. Steve Boss has been a tireless advocate for the geosciences, working hard to help others succeed and seeking no credit in return. Steve is passionate about creating a culture in the geosciences that supports scholars from all backgrounds and defines the concept of leading from behind. He has worked with hundreds of On to the Future scholars, providing mentorship and networking, and has hosted over a dozen workshops at Connects and at section meetings. He has served on GSA committees, been a co-convener, presenter, or panelist at more than 20 sessions since 2017, and is regularly involved in planning activities of the South Central section. Steve was selected as a GSA Fellow in 2021, recognizing his excellence in the field of geosciences above and beyond the service he has rendered to GSA. Steve Voss is one of the kindest, most sincere, and honorable people I have ever had the pleasure of working with.
Thank you, Nathan. And thank you also, my dear friend and colleague Elizabeth Long, for your nomination and citation. When I first learned that I was to receive recognition today, I looked up the previous recipients on the GSA website. Of those 69 awardees, I was astonished to discover that I knew and interacted in some way with 23 of them, 1/3 over the course of my career. Their presence in my geoscience genealogy reminds me that science is a human endeavor, and no one succeeds in science without support and encouragement from many others. For the countless many of you who may be in the audience today, I hope you'll be proud to know that I'm a product of your influence, encouragement, and support over many years. And finally, I thank the Geological Society of America by providing service opportunities throughout my career and giving me a chance to serve each year in various ways for this discipline and the society. I know that I have received the greater gift. Thank you.
Paul Baldoff provided the introduction for the second awardee, Patrick Burkhart.
It is with great pleasure that I offer the citation for Patrick Burkhart for the 2025 Geological Society of America Distinguished Service Award. That Pat is receiving this award should come as no surprise. Pat's dedication to and love for the GSA has been a constant throughout his career. It would be difficult to overstate his contributions to our organization. By my count, he has led 3 joint section meetings and served 4 times on the technical program committee for the annual meeting. More than mere numbers is the style and grace he brought to the work. Not content to merely organize a meeting, he strives to create a meeting experience, to build excitement, to create memories. If that weren't enough, he shares his accumulated wisdom with other aspiring organizers, encouraging a new generation of meeting planners. Pat loves the GSA, and today is our day to shower him with love. We salute you, Pat, for your commitment and contributions that have made our organization great.
In 1990, I better get this right. In 1988, I drove through the night with another graduate student from Lehigh to arrive in Boulder for the GSA National Meeting. It was a huge adventure. I was hooked. In 1990, I attended the Tectonics, Water, and Politics field trip associated with the national meeting in San Diego. The group was assembled in Reno and headed to Mono Lake. We followed the aqueduct along the Owens River, learning the story of William Mulholland and the shady acquisition of water rights by the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power. We passed the site of the collapsed St. Francis Dam. Along with seeing these notorious landmarks, I met many illustrious hydrogeologists, including Paul Sieber and Jack Hess. The trip forged an inflection point in my career as a water scientist. As Charles Darwin had gone geologizing with Adam Sedgwick, so too adventurous discovery is now part of my itinerary at all meetings of the GSA. In turn, my career has been propelled by the GSA, its publications, bookstore, field programs, and more. My friend is right. I love the GSA. I choose to support vigorous, impactful meetings to pay my gratitude forward for others to enjoy. The GSA has been the vault upon which I have propelled my career, and I liked extending that opportunity to others. I love GSA meetings. I thank Professor Paul Baldoff, another earnest member, for his thoughtful nominations. Congratulations to him and all of the newly elected fellows. I'll see you all in the spring section meeting. Thank you. Thanks again, buddy.
In 1998, GSA established the Public Service Award in honor of Eugene and Carolyn Shoemaker. It was created to recognize enhancement of the public's understanding of the Earth. The 2025 GSA Public Service Award winner is Andrea Dutton. Gene Barr provides the introduction.
Andrea Dutton is the Helen Jubnik Endowed Research Professor in the Department of Geoscience at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Professor Dutton was recognized in 2019 as a MacArthur Fellow, not only for her outstanding research in carbonate geochemistry and sedimentology, but also for her contributions to climate communication, a theme that has been central to her work since her early career as a high school science teacher. Her public engagement activities in the last decade have ranged from testimony to the U.S. Congress to TEDx presentations, media interviews, interactive presentations at schools and museums, op-eds published in national and international news outlets, and featured interviews on radio and on television series. Her dedication to public engagement goes well above and beyond her day job as a researcher, teacher, and mentor in a university setting, making her highly deserving of recognition as a recipient of the GSA Public Service Award.
I'm deeply honored to receive this award in recognition of my contributions to climate science communication, particularly at a time when science and scientists are under an attack that is unprecedented in the history of our country. The importance of communicating the value of science and of scientific institutions to public audiences has never been more important. My research in sea level change during past warm periods opened my eyes to the enormity of the challenge that the climate crisis poses to human life on Earth. Though I was daunted to enter the public spotlight, I could not ignore the existential threat of human-caused global warming. My greatest ambition, though, is to encourage others to raise their voices, to share the joys, the wonder, and the very real value of science in our society. This is the moment for all of us to step into the public spotlight together. Thank you.
The Geologic Mapping Award is named after Florence Bascom. She's a woman who was a true pioneer of American geology, the second woman to earn a PhD in geology in the United States, and the first to be hired by the U.S. Geological Survey. The Bascom Mapping Award acknowledges contributions in published high-quality geologic mapping and is awarded to contribute greater understanding of fundamental geologic processes and concepts. Richard P. Tolo provided the introduction for the 2025 Geologic Mapping awardee, Scott Southworth.
Scott Southworth is responsible for an ongoing, unprecedented renaissance in our collective understanding of the geology of the Blue Ridge Province and surrounding Appalachians. Through his own mapping and numerous map-based studies that he made possible, Scott's dedicated efforts produced more good science in the Central Appalachians than any traditional supporting agencies for geology. Scott published nearly 30 geological maps covering areas located between Shenandoah National Park in northern Virginia and Mount Rogers in northwestern North Carolina. In addition to his copious mapping, Scott fostered collaborations with academic researchers and students and encouraged multidisciplinary investigations involving geochronologic and geochemical studies. This strategy resulted in the publication of more than 50 scientific papers during the past 30 years, sparking perhaps the greatest expansion of knowledge pertaining to this area. No one has made such an indelible imprint on Blue Ridge geology now or in the past.
Unfortunately, Scott was not able to attend the GSA Connects meeting this year, but he asked that I read his acceptance speech. I sincerely thank Richard Tolo, David Brzezinski, Bill Burton, and Arthur Merschott, and Chuck Bailey for the nomination. I was honored to be in the branch of Eastern Regional Geology where I had at least 20 mentors over 30 years. Our project was funded by the National Cooperative Geologic Mapping Program and benefited from at least 100 EDMAP grants to 10 different universities. I studied the Florence Bascom papers at Bryn Mawr College in Pennsylvania, her USGS papers from 1896 to 1936, and learned greatly from her student, Anna Jonas, USGS 1930 to 1954. Like them, I did digital compilations, color pencils and ink pens on paper topographic maps. Geologic mapping is fun. You get to walk up hills and down creeks all day. My rock collection reminds me daily of the dumb luck that led to the wonderful days in the Blue Ridge Woods. To the younger generation, there will always be the need for geologic mapping. The Geological Society of America Foundation develops funds to support the goals and programs of the Geological Society of America. The foundation was created in 1980 and serves current and future donors by providing information and solutions that align their philanthropic interests with GSA programs and priorities. With many years of fundraising experience and a background in environmental science, including a foundation in the Geosciences, it is my pleasure to introduce to you the Executive Director of the GSA Foundation, Sean O'Brien.
Thank you so much, Nathan, and thanks for being such a great partner and for your inspiring comments about field camp. As a beneficiary of not geology field camp, but other field camps, I really definitely feel that. As an erstwhile scientist, it's really great to be back at a scientific meeting, especially, as many people have said, at a time when science is really under attack and we really need to shore up what we're doing. And that's one of the great things about the foundation. That's what we do, is we raise money to support the Geological Society of America and the science and the scientists involved in the society. So we work with you, the members of GSA, to raise funds to support the work that the society is doing, the important programs and services offered by the society. For example, earlier this year, we put out a call to raise some money for the On to the Future program so that we could bring more young people and people with diverse backgrounds to Connects this year. And you all rose to the challenge and donated over $40,000 this spring to support people coming to Connects this year. What's more interesting in some ways is the history. So Nathan mentioned we've been doing this since 1990. And over those past 45 years, over 34,000 members of the Geological Society of America have made donations to the foundation to support programs at the society. That's 169,000 individual donations and over $57 million. Amazingly, through the power of small changes leading to big changes, the vast majority of those donations are under $100. 83% of the donations were below $100. And so small gifts, of course, make a huge difference, and so we really appreciate that. These gifts often go to the Greatest Needs Fund, which support core operations and other programs at the GSA. Some donations are made to individual specific funds, like the David Lowell Field Camp Scholarship Fund, to allow people to participate in field camp at a more affordable price for them. And so we really appreciate all of the work and all of the time that people do to support the work of the society and make donations to the foundation to allow us to pass that money through. And speaking of these restricted funds, we have over 120 funds that provide scholarships and awards and other things to members of the society and support programs at the society. In the past 6 years, over $9 million have been transferred from the foundation to the society to support these programs. Melanie mentioned earlier that it was over $2 million this year I did a little research, and in 1990, it was $70,000, which would be $175,000 in today's money. So these continuing support that you all are providing to the foundation has really made a huge difference in the amount of support that we can provide to the programs at the Society. Things like On to the Future, the Congressional Science Fellow, and other core operations. So how can you help? Patrick is actually helping. So I look forward to talking to you later at the booth. And I want everyone to invite everyone to our booth. It's in the GSA section on the exhibit hall. Chat with our staff about how you can get involved and how you can support your society through donations to the foundation. Thank you very much.
I'm very pleased to announce the winners of the primary awards of each of GSA's 22 scientific divisions. These divisions are the scientific backbone of the technical program of GSA Connects and provide many activities and connections for the members. Today we celebrate the 2025 primary awardees who represent our science, who have contributed significantly to industry, and whose work inspires us to further pave the way for future generations. Awardees, as your name is announced, please stand and remain standing until all awardees have been announced. The Rip Rap Geoarchaeology Division Award of the Geoarchaeology Division 2025 winner is Cheryl Luzader Beach. The Gilbert H. Cady Award of the Energy Geology Division winner is Joan S. Esterly. The E.B. Burwell Jr. Award of the Environmental and Engineering Geology Division goes to Scott McDougall, Jacob Mathias, and Paul M. Santee for their 2024 Springer Nature publication, Advances in Debris Flow Science and Practice. The Distinguished Career Award of the Geobiology and Geomicrobiology Division goes to Peter T. Vischer. The M. Lee Allison Award for Geoinformatics of the Geoinformatics and Data Science Division goes to Wenwen Lee. The George P. Willard Award of the Geophysics and Geodynamics Division goes to Richard G. Gordon. The Biggs Award for Excellence in Earth Science Teaching of the Geoscience Education Division goes to Kelsey S. Bidding. The Mary C. Rabbit History and Philosophy of Geology Award of the History, Philosophy, and Geoheritage Division 2025 winner is Renee M. Clary. The O.E. Meinzer Award of the Hydrogeology Division goes to Michelle A. Walvard. The Israel C. Russell Award of the Limnogeology Division goes to Eric T. Brown. The 2025 winner of the Distinguished Geology Career Award of the Mineralogy, Geochemistry, Petrology, and Volcanology Division is Anita L. Grunder. The G.K. Gilbert Award of the Planetary Geology Division goes to Scott L. Murchie. The Kirk Bryan Award of the Quaternary Geology and Geomorphology Division goes to Alan R. Nelson. The Lawrence L. Sloss Award of the Sedimentary Geology Division goes to Timothy F. Lawton. The Meritorious Service Award of the Geology and Health Division goes to Malcolm Dean Siegel. The 2025 winner of the Career Contribution Award of the Structural Geology and Tectonics Division is Michael L. Williams. Please join me in a round of applause for the 2025 GSA Primary Division awardees. And I want to remind you to be sure to stop by the division booths in the GSA Pavilion in the exhibition hall to talk with the divisions about how you can be part of the future of science of GSA. The scientific divisions give out a lot of money each year, over $300,000 over this past year to students, early career professionals, and professionals in recognition of their contributions to the industry and to encourage a new generation. The scientific divisions are mentors of students and early career professionals, participate in GSA-wide events like the OTF Expo, our science links to our associated societies, and meet regularly with GSA leadership to help create the future of the society. I'd also like to take this opportunity to, I'll reintroduce Melanie Brandt.
Thank you. Serving members in 99 countries, GSA International creates collaborative opportunities to build relationship with GSA, GSA divisions, and associated societies on international issues while providing a communication platform for GSA members worldwide. Today we recognize 2 international awardees. Please stand when your name is called. All GSA International awards also will be presented at the international reception tomorrow evening. The 2025 GSA International Distinguished Career Award goes to Prosoon Bhattacharya. To travel and lecture outside North America, the GSA International James B. Thompson Distinguished Lecturer Award goes to Kathleen Counter-Benison. And to travel and lecture inside North America, Maria Rose Putrizzo. Congratulations to the GSA International awardees. In cooperation with the Association of the American State Geologists, GSA makes an annual award for the best paper on environmental geology published by one of the state geological surveys or by GSA. Please stand as I announce your name. This year's John C. Fry Award in Environmental Geology goes to authors Peter McLaughlin, Jamie Tomlinson, and Amanda Lawson for their 2023 Delaware Geological Survey publication, Aquifers and Groundwater Withdrawals, Kent and Sussex Counties, Delaware. The Cole Awards provides research support for those GSA members between 30 and 65 years of age. In collaboration with the Cushman Foundation and the GSA Quaternary Geology and Geomorphology Division, we recognize today the 2025 winners. The W. Storr Coles Award for research in invertebrate micropaleontology goes to Christina Walls. The Gladys W. Cole Award for research in the geomorphology of semi-arid and arid terrains in the United States and Mexico goes to Arjun Hemseth. And each year, GSA selects a top lecturer on a topic of relevance to natural resources, such as water, land, energy, and minerals, to give a lecture at GSA Connects. This year's distinguished lecturer is Michael H. Young, and Robert M. Reed provides the introduction.
Dr. Michael H. Young, 2025 Michelle T. Calvary Distinguished Lecturer. Michael is a research professor and associate dean for research at the Bureau of Economic Geology of the Jackson School of Geosciences at the University of Texas at Austin. His expertise bridges the 3 scientific themes of the Bureau: energy, environment, and economics. Through his involvement in the Comparing Electricity Options Program and the Texas Soil Observation Network, his scientific work covers topics important to the future of the planet by seeking to understand the environmental and economic impacts of both climate and human activity. Michael has forwarded our understanding of the water-energy nexus, soil-water-plant interactions, and connections between water resources, arid and semi-arid landscape development, and human interactions. A fellow of both GSA and the Soil Science Society of America, Michael believes in bridging divides between scientific disciplines and encourages these endeavors by his students and colleagues.
Thank you. I'm not sure which way to look here. I'm really incredibly grateful and honored to receive this year's Michael T. Halbuti Lectureship by GSA. Thank you, Rob Reed and the Granston Awards Committee at the Bureau of Economic Geology for nominating me, and thanks to my colleagues and students, and especially my wife, Kathy, of 30 years. The BEG and the Jackson School of Geosciences at UT have been my intellectual home for over 15 years, and it's hard to overstate my gratitude for the opportunity to work with such great colleagues, scientists, and students throughout my time there. I have tried in my career to bridge disciplines and find common threads that can be missed when topics are too narrowly defined. Working across disciplines is challenging, but the rewards are enormous. Collaborating with engineers, economists, environmentalists, and other stakeholders can build better solutions needed to address complex societal issues that involve these important resources. We as geoscientists cannot do it alone, and these stakeholder groups need us too. Many thanks again for this great honor.
The Doris Curtis Outstanding Women in Science Award was established in honor of Doris Curtis, the first woman president of the Geological Society of America. It is presented to women who have impacted the geosciences in a major way based on their PhD research. And it is my pleasure to announce the 2025 winner, Dr. Penny Weiser.
Dr. Penny Weiser is an amazing scientist and role model and highly deserving of the 2025 GSA Doris M. Curtis Outstanding Woman in Science Award. A petrologist and geochemist with a focus on understanding volcanic activity, she is impressively talented and productive. Her graduate studies, which focused on Hawaii and postdoctoral work on the heart volcanoes of the Cascade Range, fundamentally changed the way we think about these systems and also redefined many of our most important tools. In her current position at Berkeley, she continues to push research boundaries, often linking microscale observations with macroscopic behavior of magmatic and volcanic systems, as well as their impacts on human populations. Dr. Weiser also works to make our scientific community a better place. This includes advocating repeatedly for disabled scientists in the geosciences and being a staunch advocate and producer of open source software, including popular tools for thermobarometry and magma degassing.
It is an absolute honor to receive this award from GSA. I'm here today because the amazing people who have supported and collaborated with me. Thank you to my master supervisor, Stephen Turner, for teaching me how to be a researcher, to Marie Edmonds, John McClellan, and Francis Jenner for giving me the freedom and support during my PhD to pursue a wide range of research topics, to Evgenia Ilyanskaya for taking me on an aerosol monitoring campaign during the 2018 eruption of Kilauea, a really pivotal moment in my career, and to my postdoc mentors, Adam Kent, who nominated me, and Christy Till for introducing me to cascade volcanism and giving me so much help to understand how US academia works. Finally, to Michael Manga and Daniel Stouffer for their support and mentoring at Berkeley. And I'd like to thank my husband, Matt Gleason, for always putting my career and dreams first, including moving to the US for me.
All right, we will now recognize newly elected Society Fellows. Society Fellowship is an honor bestowed on the best of our profession in recognition of distinguished contribution to the geosciences and to GSA. We applaud the cohort of 2025 GSA Society Fellows for their exceptional achievements in areas such as publication of geologic research, applied research, teaching, administration of geological programs, contributions to the public awareness of geology, leadership in professional organizations, and editorial, bibliographic, and library responsibilities. Please stand when you are recognized. And guests, please hold your applause until all newly elected fellows have been recognized.
Gordon Bayard, Paul Baldoff, Bill Burns, Mark W. Carter, Elena Quintero Garcia, Jay Chapman, David Chu, Jose Constantine, Matthew M. Crawford, Brian Curry, Michael Fenster, Gary Giannini, Stacia Gordon, Brian Jika, David John, Patricia Cambyses, Melissa Lamb, Isaac J. Larson, Amy Leventer, Arthur Mershaw, Jason Polk, Tony Rodriguez, Raymond Rogers, Zach Sharp, Noah Snyder, Paul Spry, Amy Weisslogel, Mike Wiesevich.
Congratulations to all of the newly elected Society Fellows.
In 1999, Randolph W. Bill and Cecile T. Bromry established the Bromry Fund for Minorities with the GSA Foundation to support the Bromry Award. The award is presented to persons who have made significant contributions to research in the geosciences or those who have been instrumental in the geoscience field in opening the geoscience field to minorities. The 2025 winner of the Bromry Award is Rocio Paola Caballero Gil, and Lena C. Perez Angel provides the introduction.
Dr. Rocio Paola Caballero Gil is an award-winning geoscientist who is an exceptional leader in the field. She has made innovative and impactful contributions to both paleoclimate research and the creation of community-engaged initiatives aimed at broadening minority participation in the geosciences. Dr. Caballero Gil has co-founded several internationally recognized organizations, including GeoLatinos and Climate Match Academy. While serving as a research assistant professor at George Mason University, she is the principal investigator and lead director of the Cyclo Cohort Program, an early career springboard for inclusion, diversity, equity, and justice-focused leadership in geoscience and astronomy, funded by the Heising-Simons Foundation. Rocio is a force of nature and one of the most impressive role models in our field. The GSA Bromry Award is a reflection of the profound impact of her journey and the inspiration that provides to many of us.
I'm going to have to stand on my tippy toes because this thing is a little too tall for me. Thank you so much for this award, dear colleagues, friends, family, and those of you watching online, because I know you are. I'm truly humbled to receive the Bromry Award. This honor is especially meaningful to me because of Randolph and Cecile's legacy of advancing equity in the sciences. That is also very special to me because it places me among past recipients that I have long admired. I have you in mind when I say this, Lisa, Kathleen, Hendrata, and many of you. I'm deeply grateful to my family, my husband, who's watching online, my kids, my mom's, and my dad's no longer here. I'm also thankful to Lina Perez Angel for nominating me, and to all my mentors who supported the nomination, but also who have inspired me through the years, Steve, Linda, Erica, Julie, Nicole, so many of you to name, and many of you here in the room. Mocha, Lisette, I'm looking at you. Okay, my tipitos are gonna give up. To be recognized by GSA for this award is touching, and to be recognized by you as a community that I care so much for and so deeply is profoundly moving. This award is a reminder, especially now, that science flourishes when we embrace diverse voices and perspectives. More than ever, we must continue building an inclusive field, not only because it strengthens our science, but because it's a moral imperative. I accept with gratitude this award with a renewed commitment to ensure every student and professional knows they belong. Muchas gracias por este honor. Thank you.
I was going to get out of the way of the photograph. The Young Scientist Award, also known as the Donath Medal, established in 1988, is awarded to a young scientist for outstanding achievement contributing geologic knowledge through original research that marks a major advance in earth sciences. This medal is made possible through the generosity of Dr. and Mrs. Fred Donath. Catherine Huntington provided the introduction for the 2025 Donath medalist, Julia Kelson.
Julia Kelson is a pioneering isotope geochemist and paleoclimatologist whose research advances new frontiers at the intersection of past, present, and future climate science. She integrates rigorous laboratory methods with fieldwork, global datasets, and modeling to address fundamental questions about environmental change. Julia has advanced two powerful geochemical tools, clumped isotopes and triple oxygen isotopes, refining their methodologies and establishing new proxies for reconstructing paleoclimate and soil carbon processes. She applies these tools with creativity and precision, from Holocene soils to Eocene estuaries, producing elegant records of temperature, seasonality, humidity, and paleo-elevation. Her work is as impactful as it is meticulous, and she has been a leader in improving reproducibility and data transparency across the geochemistry community. Julia's science exemplifies breadth, depth, originality, and integrity. And that same spirit is evident in her generous mentorship, collaboration, and leadership. Julia Kelson is a remarkable scientist and colleague, and most deserving Donath medalist.
All right. Thanks. I'm deeply honored to accept this year's Donath Medal. This award reflects not only my work, but the generous support and collaboration of mentors and colleagues. Foremost, my PhD supervisor, Kate Huntington, shaped my curiosities into meaningful research and demonstrated how to integrate climate, tectonics, and geochemistry with elegance. A dream team at the University of Michigan supported me as a postdoc. Thanks to Sierra Peterson for her enthusiastic problem solving, to Naomi Levin for encouraging me to tackle messy problems with integrity, and to Ben Passy for sharing his analytical brilliance. I'm grateful to my wonderful colleagues at Indiana University, including Brian Unitas, who nominated me, and thanks to my family, especially to my husband David, for reminding me to enjoy life and parenthood. Finally, I'd like to thank Dr. and Mrs. Fred Donath and GSA for supporting this award. It's a privilege to be recognized amongst this community of outstanding geoscientists.
The Day Medal was established in 1948 by Arthur L. Day to be given for outstanding contributions to geologic knowledge through the application of physics and chemistry for the solution of geologic problems. Jason Reck provides the introduction for the 2025 medalist, Hailiang Dong.
Hailiang Dong is a mineralogist and microbiologist who has worked relentlessly to understand the intricate ways that microorganisms interact with the solid earth. His research has been novel and transformative and has ranged from quantifying reaction rates of mineral reactions to understanding the many roles microorganisms play in influencing biogeochemical cycles, remediating environmental contamination, and fighting drug-resistant pathogens. Hailiang's strong background in mineralogy and geochemistry, in conjunction with his broad array of analytical techniques, have allowed him to advance the field of geomicrobiology in exciting new directions. He has also served the research community in many ways, from acting as a program director for the National Science Foundation, as chief editor for Chemical Geology and Geochimica at Cosmochimica Acta, as an associate editor for Geomicrobiology and Clays and Clay Minerals. Finally, Hailiang has trained over 40 graduate students, ensuring that his legacy of cutting-edge science will continue for decades to come.
Many thanks to Jason Reck and my supporters and the GSA Award Committee for the nomination and conferral of the medal. I'm truly honored to join this distinguished group of scientists, many of whom I know either in person or through their work. My career started as a student at China University of Geosciences, where I met Dr. Tibor Zotai, a visiting mineralogist from the University of Minnesota in early 90s. It was Dr. Zotai who recommended me to the University of Michigan to work with Don Pico, Alex Halliday, and Chris Hall. I enjoyed combining argon-40, argon-39 dating with transmission electron microscopy to study clay diagenesis. Upon graduation in 1997, I moved to Princeton University to work with Thomas Arnstall, who introduced me into this wonderful world of geomicrobiology and paved my academic career until today. I dedicate this award to my family, June, Raymond, and Christina, for their strong support and love. Without their strong support and love, I would never have reached this stage. Thanks so much to you all.
The Penrose Medal was established in 1927 by R.A.F. Penrose Jr. and is awarded in recognition of eminent research in pure geology for outstanding contributions or achievements that mark a major advance in the science of geology. Zachary Sharp provides the introduction for the 2025 Penrose medalist, Turi E. Serling.
I am delighted to introduce Turi Serling as the 2025 Penrose medalist. Turi is the most creative and innovative scientist I know. He not only works on important problems, but literally creates new fields of research. He pioneered the use of soil carbonates for paleoclimate reconstruction and estimating atmospheric CO2 abundances. He developed the concept of using fossil bioappetite for paleoecological studies. Turi and his colleagues discovered a widespread increase in C4 plant production 6 to 8 million years ago, using soil carbonates and fossil tooth enamel. Everyone knows of Turi's outstanding scientific contributions, but those of us who know him personally can add to that. Turi is a generous, kind person with a wicked sense of humor. He is always there to help and share ideas. My year with Turi in Switzerland was an unforgettable experience. Thank you, Turi, for your friendship, and congratulations on an award most well-deserved.
Yeah, receiving an honor like the Penrose Medal reflects decades of fruitful collaborations that encourage curiosity, precision, and importantly, posing new questions for the next generation of scientists to explore. Field experiences have taken me around the globe, and I've worked with students and colleagues from many different scientific disciplines and backgrounds. Unlikely adventures, inhospitable conditions, and long conversations under the stars have provided me with lifelong friendships and have fueled my creative energies. I've been fortunate to share my passion for geology, mathematics, and chemistry with students and colleagues as we've explored all kinds of impossible questions in the field, in the lab, and most importantly, on the backs of napkins and envelopes. My parents instilled in me a love of both wordplay and hard work, things I hope I've shared with my children, their children, and with my extended scientific family. Thank you all for this honor.
The GSA International Honorary Fellow Award is presented to an international geoscientist who has distinguished themselves in geoscience investigations, promoting environmental awareness, linking science and society, providing notable service to implementing public policy and natural resource management, or otherwise making outstanding contributions to science. GSA is proud to announce two recipients for 2025, Alberto Guadagnini and Fabian B. Wadsworth. Brian Berkowitz provides the introduction for Alberto Guadagnini.
Professor Alberto Guadagnini is being honored for his transformative contributions to hydrogeology. Alberto is internationally recognized for groundbreaking contributions in the development of rigorous, uncertainty-aware models of flow and transport processes in geological formations. His innovative approach to stochastic modeling geostatistics, and global sensitivity analysis have refined the way we understand and model groundwater systems and their dynamic evolution under uncertainty. He has significantly advanced theory and application across scales, from nanoscale characterization of heterogeneous dissolution patterns on water-mineral interfaces to basin-wide models that support aquifer characterization and groundwater protection under uncertainty. While being a recognized leader in unifying theory, modeling, and experimental design practice in hydrogeology and porous media, he is also a devoted mentor and an active advocate for international scientific collaboration. His insightful research methods and his personal qualities, which include free sharing of his ideas with colleagues and students, have firmly established him as an international leader in the field of geoscience and hydrogeology.
I'm profoundly honored and sincerely grateful to receive this wonderful award from the Geological Society of America. This award reflects recognition of individual contributions as well as the value the Geological Society of America places on the international dimension on scientific research in geosciences. I extend my sincere thanks and appreciation to the GSA for establishing such a fascinating and meaningful recognition. It is profoundly rewarding to know that the work that I have pursued with passion, curiosity, and dedication over the past 20 years has been recognized and valued. From exploring processes at the nanoscale, such as those occurring at mineral fluid interfaces, to addressing groundwater management at supraregional scales, my overall goal has always been to contribute to enhance our knowledge of subsurface systems and their complex behavior, as driven by a variety of sources of uncertainty. Of course, such a journey is never undertaken in solitude. I have been extraordinarily fortunate to be continuously supported by family and to work with outstanding colleagues and students whose insight and dedication have been and continue to be essential in shaping my research path. I proudly share with recognition with all of them. Thank you.
Fabian Wadsworth was nominated by Sin-T Lee for his world-leading geologic research into volcanic eruption dynamics and his deep commitment to mentorship and education in the wider geosciences in the US and Europe in particular. Unfortunately, Fabian Wadsworth is unable to be with us today. Congratulations to all the 2025 GSA Society awardees. I'd like to remind you of the gold medal lectures to take place this week by Penrose medalist Turi E. Serling, Day medalist Hailiang Dong, Donath medalist Julia Kelson, and President's Medal winners, the Open Topography Facility. In closing, I'd like to say I'm very proud to serve in GSA's leadership as this year's president-elect. GSA is a great organization with a long history, and we follow in the footsteps of some great geoscientists. It's not hard to look back and see some huge names in our history. I'm an earth surface geologist with varied expertise applied to paleoclimatology, water resources, and active tectonics. So when I look back at GSA's history, I lean toward the contributions and leadership of early geologists like G.K. Gilbert and T.C. Chamberlain, both of them broad-thinking geologists with big ideas. I could go on, but really it's a little too easy to focus on that history. It's a great history, but that's not what GSA is today. It's part of what GSA is today. I'd rather ask you to look around you now and throughout this week in order to see what GSA is about. And at this time, we make up GSA and have our mark to make. GSA is a large and multifaceted organization with members of many backgrounds creating the fabric of the organization, supported by a strong governance system and a dedicated staff. Many volunteers fill important roles within GSA, in committees, divisions, sections, and groups of various focus. GSA is many things all at once, and that's what makes it an exciting organization. So while you're here in San Antonio through this busy and always exciting week, stop and look around you and really appreciate the fabric of this organization and what makes it work. There are a lot of traditions, of course, but it's the people who make it run and who bring together the science and who move the organization forward. GSA faces many challenges, to be sure, as federal funding draws back and as the world seems to change around us. But GSA is a lean, efficient, adaptive organization that is able to respond to changes generated from the inside and from the outside. Earlier, we heard Melanie Brandt describe GSA's new initiatives as we lean into this changing landscape, and you can count on GSA to continue to look forward. Thank you for joining today's celebration. Enjoy your week here. Find your people, discover and feed your passions, explore the great science, and appreciate GSA and its past, present, and future. Thank you.